Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do you own a suit?
Yeah, you have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting.
I don't have such. I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one,
maybe
something like yours. Yes, maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for.
Woo! Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Viewers Discretion. I am your host, Joe Neerman, aka Good Lawgic. Wow. Nobody called this. Nobody called this. Let's talk about whether or not it was orchestrated. We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about whether or not this was orchestrated by I don't know. But that opening there really calls to mind a fair question. And that is, I'm going to make this very simple. I'm going to put this up here as a poll question. Should Zelensky have worn a suit? I actually brought this up before. Like, I don't know why it is that he doesn't wear a suit. Like, I don't get it. Don't tell me he doesn't have the money. I mean, he said about, I wear a costume. Maybe I wear, when the war is over, I wear a costume. You're wearing costume now, okay? All right, buddy boy? You're wearing costume. By saying I'm the only person who's going to meet the leader of the free world and not wear a suit, you're wearing a costume. So, but I don't know. Maybe that's a Zelensky costume to try and show that, like, no, these are difficult times for us here in crazy Ukraine. Should Zelensky have worn a suit? Simple yes or no question. I'm going to be looking in the ghetto also. Don't think I forgot about you folks in the ghetto. Should Zelensky have been wearing a suit? Dominion After Dark has rated the stream, which, hey, let me tell you something. Great job there. Great job. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah. Do you think he looks like he should have worn a suit? Or would it just have looked like something? Would that make him look even more like Tattoo? I don't know. That's a dated reference, I know. A very dated reference. Bus. Zeppelin. I don't know. Like, should he have worn a suit? Yes, boss. I wear a suit for you. White suit. Oh my God. Just like, he said, wear a costume. And when he talks about wear a fancier suit than you, yeah, I'm sure you can afford it. You got $300 billion and only like half of it made its way to your country. So it went somewhere. So I'm sure you can afford a lot of suits. Someone got my dated reference. There you go. Zeppelin. All right. Well, anyhow, that was I don't know if we're going to be watching the whole thing, because I think it's only fair to judge the interaction if we see it in the context of the individuals who are participating in the conversation. But this in front of dozens, if not seemingly hundreds of reporters crammed in there with their boom mics and everything in there, there was an explosion in international diplomacy, in the likes of which I think we have never seen. I think humanity has never seen before. And frankly, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, and just Cars and Death is making this point. Contrast Zelensky and Bibi. Bibi agreed ceasefire with Trump, and U.S. just announced they'll deliver munitions and armored D9 bulldozers for use in Gaza. Yeah. Trump's all of a sudden just threw out what seemed like a completely crazy wrinkle of like, hey, maybe we'll build like hotels there and take over Gaza. And Bibi, because he's coming, with his, he's got his little whole please. He was like, yep, whatever he says. That's what Bibi did. Whatever he says, yep. That's what you do. That's what you do in that scenario. I'm gonna share with you all something. And we're gonna be going through the whole thing here. Let me cover up these. Let me get to these comments first. I've been waiting for this stream. The EU sucks. Oh, glad, Tammy. I hope I can help you out here. On X, I was saying I was worried about going to World War III because they're refusing to fund the war. I was worried about Great Britain giving more money and possibly troops. We're not going to World War. They're not giving money. They're big money. $3 billion. Macron came out saying like, oh, we need to stand with you. All right, go. I wrote back to him, cobble together your French francs and pay for it. At a certain point, we should be pulling the hell out of NATO, that's for sure. EU are not our allies. They think it's fine for Z to be that rude with body language interruptions and even subtly threaten the USA. They can all F off and let's leave NATO for all I care. Yes. We got this. And World War III is the name of Trump's new casino in Ukraine. Now that was gold. Drop Barracuda. That was gold. World War III. That was really good. And HHH gifting 5 memberships. God bless you, HH. I'm going to give you the horn for that one. That was good. All right. So without further ado, let's watch the entire exchange. And I'm going to break down where things, and I understand the first half hour is probably kind of boring, but I think it's important to sort of get a flavor for what's going on here. I'm going to try and do limited interruptions during the boring part here. Zelensky should have taken for him his fashion by simply wearing basketball shorts and a hoodie. He wears jammies and behave like a spoiled brat. Well, we'll see. We're going to see. We used to go out and drink on Saturday nights. Now we listen to Joe rants, and it's way better. It's only gotten it. Now you're living the spice of life. No hangover. Much cheaper. Oh, it's and probably more entertaining than most Saturday nights. All right, let's get into it. Let's watch. Let's check out Zelensky here. Let's check him out. All right. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you, Trumpinator. I appreciate that. Zelensky trying to look like he's like a hard-ass front lines general. He's the backco. The backco. I don't know what that is. Okay. And you're very welcome. Thank you. God bless you. Let's get into it here. Let's get into it. Look at everyone sitting there feeling so special. Let me tell you something. You're sitting there, you're feeling special that you're in the room. You're feeling special that you're in the room. That's what's happening for sure.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky of Ukraine. And we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time and very.
The first phone call I ever had with him led to my first impeachment. So I've been dealing with him a long time.
Well, we had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in and digging and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's
because
something
ultimately,
that you
this
want
is
and that he
about
wants.
peace,
We have
right?
to negotiate a deal.
It's supposed to be about peace.
But we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of
We'll see.
soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. You're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop. And we want to see the money get put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding. And we're going to be working very hard. But we've had a lot of very good conversations. I will say until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They
I love how he's hating on Biden all the time.
just allowed this to continue. And I will say that I'll say in front of you, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. If I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through. But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment.
Just want to call out K-Vel. God bless you, brother. 10. I can't 10, but 10 new members of the welcome to the following. We need to get through this. We're working through this.
They've been unbelievably brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters.
Yeah.
And you have to be very proud of them from that
I'm very
standpoint.
proud.
But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East.
Nope. We ain't. Spoiler alert. Nope.
Room in a little while, right after lunch.
16 months.
And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things. And we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when they stop the shooting and we end up with
That's
the
what
deal.
we all
and
want,
I think
end the
we're fairly
war.
close to getting that. And an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for invitation. And really, I hope that this first document will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our people, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course the infrastructure or security guarantees, because for today I understand what Europe is ready to do, and of course I want to discuss with you what United States will be ready to do, and I really count on your strong position to stop Putin. And
I never seen this before. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I've never seen this before. This is the first time I'm watching this, and perhaps I have the benefit of 2020 hindsight in that I know how this ultimately explodes. Although I didn't even watch the last 10 minutes, I just saw like a clip of like 3 minutes here and 2 minutes there. So you're getting my first take on this. But knowing how this whole thing breaks down, he's getting on about the security guarantees that Trump apparently has seemingly been very amorphous about exactly what those guarantees entail. So now he's signing away a certain amount of minerals that whatever. The minerals, though, the deal that they're giving him, it's true that the guarantees are not ironclad guarantees in that it spells out we will give you X number of javelins and send you X number of dollars or whatever. There's no it's not a sale. It's not a sale. See, and this is one of the things that he's not getting. I'm going to share with you a personal anecdote related to this, okay? A personal anecdote. I think I told this over once before. One of the very first clients I ever had was a close friend of mine. And he called me up and he asked me to do some legal work for him, and he said to me, and when I got it done for him, so I put together my hours and I gave him a bill. And he looks at me, he's like, "Joe, what the hell is this?" I said, "Well, those are my hours." He's like, "I'm not paying this." So I was like, what does that mean? He's like, "Look, I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you a lot. I'm going to take care of you. You need money, you come to me. I was just starting out. You come to me, I'll take care of you. But I'm not having this whole thing where every penny and everything is like, have confidence in me. I'm going to take care of you. and you're going to take care of me. And that's the nature of relationship I want to have with you. And I was like, do I trust this guy or not? Do I trust him or not? So I could have said to him, no, pay the bill, and he would have paid it. He would have paid it. He never would have called me back. Instead, I ended up getting, like, I don't know, I ended up handling 15 different cases for him over the next 20 years. More, probably. Just all the time. And I went to him all the time for money. And this way, it's like it was like sort of a freedom built on trust and expectations. And like, you know, and he would never abuse me and I would never abuse him. It's a relationship. It's a relationship in which we're both helping each other. At the same time, we're friends, but it's not like, here's my bill, you pay me. No, it's just like, it's a comfortable relationship designed to actually be there for each other. It's in many ways, a far deeper type of relationship. Now, when Trump is saying, I'm giving you security guarantees, do you trust Trump? He's going to take care of you. He's going to protect you. Or do you not trust him? And if he ends up breaking those guarantees, let's assume you think guarantees means certain things, and he ends up not giving you those and giving you far short of that. Is he extracting the minerals from your country next week, next month? This is a multi-year deal. So if Trump ends up, as far as what Trump and America's interest is here, it's a multi-year deal. So if Trump says, I'm going to give you security guarantees, and in fact, he ends up coming up way short of that, well, Ukraine could just say F you and taking our minerals. We're not giving that to you. You said you were going to give security, and there was no guarantee of security, and here are all the different ways that you failed. So what is the downside in saying I'm going to trust Trump, that Trump is going to actually be there for me when I need him, rather than saying I want this, because you know what? If Trump has in mind certain things and then Putin ends up being far more aggressive than Trump wants, then Trump is going to be far more gracious to Ukraine and Zelensky. So I'm sure he doesn't want to put down that I'm going to be giving you X, Y, Z, especially if he says I'm giving you X, Y, Z. That now puts Zelensky in a position where he's going to be much more of a hardline. Well, I have these guarantees that I have 400 javelins coming in and 100 tanks and all these different fighter planes. So I have all these different guarantees. So F you, Putin is going to become more of a hardline. So there are a lot of reasons, if you're looking for peace, that he wouldn't give him exact numbers. But it's a matter of like saying, look, you trust me, work with me. I'm going to take care of you. I'm giving you security guarantees. But like, and it's a petty thing to say, I need to know what these security guarantees are. What are you going to do? No, that's foolish. It's foolish because your position is much weaker than his. So, and if he promises you that he's going to give you X number of planes and X number of rockets and whatever and arms, and he promises you that, and then you come back to me and need more, is he going to? You're going to renegotiate everything at that point? You're in a much better position by actually just having a guarantee with someone who actually is strong enough to defend you, who says, "I'm going to defend you. Trust me, I will." But instead, he's like, no, I need to know exactly what these security guarantees are. This is childish, petty, and foolish. It's short-term thinking. It's closed-minded thinking. It's dumb. It's an insecure type of way of approaching the situation, and it's self-defeating. And he's starting off like, we need to have more definitive on what these guarantees. Just don't worry. Trump wants to tell America, I'm getting back some of our money. That's very clearly what's happening here. Nobody knows what's in those mineral deposits. Nobody knows whether he's going to be able to access them or whether they're under Russian control. He wants to be able to come back and say, hey, look, this is what we're getting. And you give him a win, you take care of him, he'll take care of you. That's what you're expecting. And in fact, if he doesn't take care of you, you're actually in a position to give him nothing. Give him absolutely nothing. And say, well, you never took care of me. You let Putin overrun me. So, yeah, go collect your minerals from Putin, jackass. That's what he could have said to him if, in fact, the guarantees ended up not being worth the paper that was written on. So why are you being so childish and petty? It's so short-term and stupid thinking if you're actually planning on going forward with this entire deal. I didn't hear anyone say this. I didn't hear anyone talk about how stupid it is for someone in Zelensky's position to be demanding concrete details about these security guarantees. It's dumb. It makes no sense. it's worse for him to have concrete guarantees. It's worse. Unless he's planning on shipping off and trading off the actual arms. I mean, what the hell is that? Stupid.
And you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning. At the very beginning of war,
Say these words
he's
to
a
Putin.
killer,
He's
a
saying it to you
terrorist.
too.
But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values, our freedom, and democracy, and of course, no compromises with the killer about our territories.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
But it will be later. And of course,
No compromises with a killer. What do you think is going to happen here? Every peace deal has compromises. What does that even mean? See, he's coming in from the gate. I know nothing is hostile in the first 40 minutes. He's being very aggressive here in his position.
What I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course, we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians. And I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States. And we need licenses for quick production of air defense. Even after the war, we need our nation to be calm, that we are secure. So that's why we need this air shield. And of course, about this, I want to speak about the contingents. I think that
so now he's asking for I don't just want like actual arms. I want your intellectual property that you developed. My God. U.S. and Russia literally named it a huge, beautiful bridge from Alaska to Russia to transport the minerals. Thank you, Tammy. God bless you. It isn't just that he didn't wear a suit. It's even more offensive that his shirt had the Azov battalion symbol on it. Is that what that is? Is that what that is? Because I thought the Azov battalion is the double Z thing, which looks like a morphed swastika. Bringing actual Nazi crap to the White House more offensive than his horse crap attitude. Ukraine and all simps. I didn't think that was... I thought that was like some, designer I never seen before. When you go with the White House, don't pee on the flowers. Yeah. If we I'm going to remember that. I'm making a list of things for when I go to the White House. Don't pee on the flowers. Okay. If we give a guarantee it's equivalent to NATO. Yeah, it is. It guarantees that we'll have people in Ukraine. They'll also be protecting Ukraine while mining the minerals. Yeah, that's true. What everyone is willing to do. Stop with getting stuff. We're getting a lot. What are you bringing to the table? Yeah. Z thought he's getting cards. He's getting cards at huge man. Cards against huge man. Cards against humanity. Cards against huge man. Zelensky want Trump to approve Ukraine to join NATO, but that can't be allowed. Never ever. Imagine Kamala throwing a word salad around. It'd be a disaster. Support Ukraine or you're pro Putin. Yeah, no, it's insane. If I don't support Ukraine unflinchingly, then that means I'm a Putin supporter or a sympathist or something. Has anyone counted how many times Zelensky called Vance a bitch in Russia? I count at least 3, but I only watched a clip of it. Did he? What's the word for that? Those who forget history are bound to repent. Trump said, let's sign the minerals deal and then we'll talk security. Yeah. But you sort of have to have confidence in him that he's going to be a man of his word. Otherwise, why are you dealing with him?
We know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will not be ready to be as strong as we need. And then the last point, last not least, about exchange, about our people and children. And you know that this crazy Russian, that they stolen 20,000 of children, Ukrainian children. They changed their names. They changed their families, relatives, and now they're in Russia. We want to bring them back. And really, it's a big, big dream, task, and goal for me and our warriors. By the way, Mr. we exchanged, released more than 4,000 warriors from Russian prison, but there are thousands more in the prison. I wanted to share with you some images. How it's, just can I now?
Yeah,
Have I?
please.
Some minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Just you to understand in what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what the attitude of Russia to our prisons. That guys, just you before and after.
Mm.
And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys, ladies and men, there, and that so they don't eat, they beat them, and they so they do a lot of bad things. So out of even during the war there are rules. Everybody knows there are rules during the war. So these guys, they don't have any rules. You see that 50, 60 kilograms.
It doesn't really look.
A lot of
It's hard
such.
for us to see the pictures. They don't really look like they've been tortured or anything. So I don't know. It's not like they're in a 5-star hotel.
Things, and I didn't want to show
Look,
you.
maybe they are being
what,
abused. I
What the
don't know.
changes with
not like
images
Russia.
of children.
It's not like Russia's famous for being kind to its prisoners, like as far as in their jail cells.
Because I will share with you, and I mean it's looking tragic.
Yep, that's tough stuff.
Yeah, I wanted very much to give you, and you see it.
Yeah.
This is pastor, by the way. They stolen pastors because it's not Russian church. They stolen pastors and moved pastors to the prison. We, at the end of last year, we brought 3 pastors, and we could exchange them. And this is pastor, you see.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So I mean, this I wanted to
That's
show
right.
you, and this. So thank you very much.
We want to get that ended, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I think we will. And
We have to, of course.
do you have any questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. With the, how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today? And how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas, but we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that can be unprotected, but still it's not very much. They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using that, using it for all of the things we do, including AI and including weapons and the military. And it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So it's something that just worked out really well. We have a lot of oil and we have a lot of gas. We have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do.
And
This puts us in great shape.
And on long-term security for Ukraine. How does this provide?
I think they're going to have great luck. I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin, and I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it, and we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't think we talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day. All they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal because right now, last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides. 2,000, and they're
That's great,
losing
isn't it?
1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it. And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to, this is a tremendous amount of money. And what the Biden administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but he had no security on the money. Europe, as you know, gave much less money, but they had security. It was in the form of a loan.
Yeah.
They get their money back. And
So you can throw at Zelensky. Why didn't we get security? Why'd you give it to Europe and not us? Oh, because I was dealing with your cuck president that you had President 46. So he just gifted us money.
And now at least we're protected because the American taxpayer has to be protected too. But this is an incredible agreement for Ukraine, because we have a big investment in their country now, and what they have, very few people have. And we're able to really go forward with very, very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country.
Zelensky's no angel. He's forcing handicapped people upon their front lawns. One man has Down syndrome. But they're totally winning. Ukraine's totally winning.
Yes. In the document, there is one of the very important points. If we speak about business and investment, we never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document will open. I mean, the next document, but anyway, here we see in the framework, we see a really goodwill for this. LNG terminals for us is very important, and I think for security of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest.
Yeah. That's the bluff. We'll see. We'll see. You think he has no workaround at all? Really? That's the situation here. I'm not worried.
In Europe, yes, and we can use it. Use it for LNG. Use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe, because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they made less support, but they are our friends and they are our very supportive partners. They really gave a lot, Mr. President. They did.
They gave a lot, but they gave much less.
No.
Much less.
No.
What's no?
No.
What's no? They gave much less. They did. Everyone knows what's not much less. What the hell is that?
Oh.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. President Trump, you have repeatedly called the deal with Ukraine as a historical one. And as a president of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So what place in the world history do you want to take? And do you associate yourself with any famous historical figures?
All right.
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I would say
He's a much better president than Lincoln. It's not even close. Not even close. Much better president than Lincoln. I'll tell you right now. I love that he's saying that, because that grates on the left so much. So much. I love it. Yeah. Tell me why Washington. Tell me why. Look, we would not have there would be no United States of America without Washington. I'm certainly not looking to in any way detract from what George Washington did, because that's an irreplaceable thing that he did. If you look at work as president, I'm simply saying, if you look at work as president, accomplishments as president, so he was pretty good. He was very good, Washington. I love that he says that. And frankly, he's much better than Lincoln was. Much better.
far superior to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Now, you know I'm only kidding, right?
We shouldn't be. As president? Look, as general, George Washington did more for America than any human alive today could do. So, but as acting as president?
Because when I say that, the fake news is going to go wild. They're going to say he considers himself to be better than Washington, but you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here to do a job. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month. We've accomplished tremendous amounts. Not only this would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know, but I think we've done a very good job. Just generally, if you look at all the things we've done.
Oh yeah, it's a spin cycle.
They're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month, there's never been a first month like we've had. And this is one of the very important things. This to me is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking place as we speak. And I don't want to have that. Think of the parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine, think of the parents of all these people being killed needlessly.
They came to our territory.
Should have never started. If I were president, this would have never started.
Mr. President, will you continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signs this agreement with Ukraine?
Yeah, we're going to be continuing.
To President Zelensky, do you feel like the U.S. is on your side, that the President Trump is on your side at this moment?
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question.
I love Trump. I do. And yeah, we need rare earth minerals. I understand that. I have confidence that Trump's going to figure out how to make sure we keep getting a steady supply of rare earth minerals. I mean, deal with one problem at a time. One problem at a time. And this is for you, my friend. Lizzie's here. Hooray! Woohoo! Lizzie. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. You're awesome. We really appreciate you. I really appreciate your amazing support. You're awesome. So thank you.
I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that United States President will not stop support. This is crucial for us. It's important for us. Yes. And Putin, the president speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this war, and they have to stop. And I think this is the question, with really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies, to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, our enemy, withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history, I think that if President, or when he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall in time.
We've had very, very good talks.
What about military aid to Ukraine?
President Zelensky just said that there will be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you. Firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelensky is going to have to make? And President Zelensky, is there anything that you might be thinking that you may be able to offer or bring to the table, for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So
And Zelensky was saying 5 minutes ago, no compromises with the killer.
certainly he's going to have to make some compromises. But
So you already can see we're 15 minutes in. They're not really on the same page here. I don't know what you want me to answer. So by that argument, are we getting the minerals from Ukraine tomorrow? Because I don't see that happening. Are we getting them on the 5th? March 4th, supposedly they're cutting off our supply. We're going to get them on the 5th from Ukraine? Because I don't see that happening. I'm saying, relax. Deal with problems as they arise. I'm definitely going to be talking about what leaving NATO looks like. The concept of leaving NATO, as far as what it looks like, I would just be like, look, you owe us $5 trillion. That's what I wanted to say. It was $5 trillion that's been accruing over the last 35 years that we've had to invest in added security. $5 trillion. $5 trillion. So you guys owe us that money. You want us to stick around? We're done with this. Why? It's ridiculous. Why do we still need a NATO? Someone walk me through this. The whole purpose, NATO was built to stand up to the USSR. I don't know why we've needed a NATO for the last 35 years, much less expanded it. It doesn't make sense to me. But walk me through it. Maybe I'm missing something here. if there's a crisis, a global crisis, a war crisis, you work that out at that point. You need to work with other countries at that point. It's like, why is it that this is like our cross to bear? Does this mean like forever, throughout history, 1,000 years from now, we still need to be in NATO? We have to be in NATO? Is there ever a time when we can say, you know what, maybe we're not gonna? What would at some point you sort of say, when are we done? When are we done here? When are we done here? Just don't. Everyone. I don't think. By the way, I don't think that Madam is against leaving NATO. I think she wants us leaving NATO. I'm saying to those people who think that that's a terrible, terrible idea. So you tell me, what is the objective of NATO, and at what point can we leave? Or is this as long as the United States is in its current form, we must be a part of NATO? And if people aren't paying, so that we'll still keep protecting them. We do need to follow Lizzie for February. Lizzie earned February. I forgot to do the whole follower of the month. Oh my God, I forgot all about that. Well, Lizzie's a good choice. She is. By the way, those cards are about to go away. My family is negotiating mineral rights to newly found lithium deposits on a farm in East Texas. Are you serious? SLI on New York Stock Exchange? He sounds like he's actually serious. Standard Lithium Limited. Whoa. Look at you buying up the lithium. Nice. I'm thinking more like how Europe would react, etc. Well, they'd probably be pissed. The way they always do. They'll throw a hissy fit. Good time to put your pops on. Why do we need NATO? I say pull out. That's what she said.
Hopefully they won't be as big as some people think you're going to have to make. That's all. That's all we can do. I'm here as an arbitrator, as a mediator to a certain extent between two parties that have been very hostile. To put it mildly, they've been very hostile. There's been a vicious war. There's been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and those bullets go out. And as I've said many times, we were talking about it with Pete, many times the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets. It's dead level. That's why it's great farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are being, and other things that are being shot. So all I can do is see if I can get everybody at the table and get an agreement. And I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
Mr. President, I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately,
And this is the thing, and the notion that EU would have any legitimate basis for a grievance against us for leaving NATO is like, what? So what? So we don't earn any goodwill for the fact that we've been coughing up for you for the last 35 years? Not even 35 years. It really goes back decades before that. But I'm saying 35 years since the wall has fallen. Like, we don't get any goodwill for that? Nothing? Like if we leave, it's like now we're the bad people? It's like we're not willing to like keep funding their defense any longer? All these countries would have to start actually, dipping into their own pockets to defend themselves. I don't understand why that makes us the bad guys. It's like that's like saying like, a father who like takes care of his kid and supports him and gives him finances for the first 25 years of his life and then cuts him off, that the father is the bad guy. Like, why is that? Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like we have very much influence there. And we're always hearing about how we're a bunch of losers and we're not as evolved and we're not cultured. There's a lot of disrespect we get from EU all the time. We're uneducated, they're stupid Americans. They spit at us all the time. It's not like it's really bought us a lot of goodwill. I don't know. 100% new lithium deposits found in East Texas and Arkansas. Awesome. Awesome. Go get them. Okay, Vel. I thought NATO was designed to not. Whoops. Wrong button. Sorry. I feel bad. I got a counterbalance. I'll give you the other one. I thought NATO was designed to not only stand up to USSR, but also communist spread as a whole. Not that we need anymore, since China is really the only real communist country that's a potential threat left. It was really about the USSR, but I don't think it was ever. When NATO was first established, it certainly was about the USSR. When tell me it's broadened in general towards communism, even if that's what NATO was about, then it never should have been formed. Because I'm going to tell you something. This is the one thing I've talked. It's been a while since I talked about communism, the spread of communism, and all the whole domino theory that they came up with in the 50s and 60s, which led to the Korean War and the Vietnam War, and saying, oh, that they're going to one country's become communist, another country's become communist. Okay, so let's say that happens. So first of all, domino theory was disproven over and over again. If communism is actually a healthy system, in that case, it'll flourish and it'll work. And if it's an unhealthy system, it's not going to flourish and it's not going to work. And it's not a healthy system. It's a very unhealthy, stupid, self-defeating, obviously, if you think about it for 15 minutes, and never possibly could work type of system. But if some country decides that they want to go commie, I mean, they can become the next South American country to fall apart, the next Cuba to fall apart. They can do that. They can self-immolate like that. What is that our concern? This notion that we have to spread democracy everywhere when spreading democracy doesn't work, it doesn't really help, and doesn't really make the peoples who have the blessings of democracy spread onto them any more, their lives any more enriched. So the whole concept of saying we need to stop communism from spreading, you have to ask yourself, why is that? Why would that possibly be? If you have confidence that your system, capitalism, because communism is really a financial system that's just implemented by certain countries. So if capitalism is the way, and it is, and it's a much healthier process, and the humanity operates far more efficiently and with greater happiness under capitalism than under communism. So in that case, stop worrying about some country which decides that they're going to kibosh themselves by going under with communism. Like, it's the stupidest thing. I never understood our whole need. It's an insecure position that, like, oh no, maybe they'll figure out that communism is better. No, they'll learn very quickly communism sucks. That's what they're going to learn. That communism sucks. And it just leads to lower production, lower happiness levels, and tyranny, invariably. And there's so many flaws in communism, so many flaws as a theory as to how it should work or could work, that it just disregards everything about what human nature is or what motivates people to act. And it's something that could never last anywhere for more than 75 years without having utter tyranny. So college kids is always all the rage for them to, be all pro-communism with a bleeding heart liberalism, and they get all into communism. And then they grow up and they realize this is stupid, and there's no one actually works, and production gets bogged down, and there's zero growth because everything has to go through 4,000 different protocols in order for anything to be sanctioned and approved. So it's impossible to have growth. You're basically taking square pegs and shoving them into triangles and circles and shoving them into rectangles, because you're the person who's the cobbler, and you're the person who's the butcher, and you're the person, and even if they're not at all suited for it, it's stupidest. And plus, even if it could work, it would still lead to misery, because the entire happiness you have is when you build something for yourself. So on a large scale, it's impossible for communism to ever work. It can work in small communities where people feel like they know each other and they're helping each other out. But on a national scale, it is impossible to work ever. And stop worrying about it. So if that's what it was always about, stopping the spread of communism, in that case, it was a flawed. Then the creation of NATO is a flawed concept ab initio. I gotta get through. In my opinion, NATO is irrelevant to USA. USA no longer exists, so it's worthless for USA to be involved with that. I agree 100%. Lithium's everywhere. It's not rare earth. Drop Barracuda. Watch out. Maybe in the past, NATO's purpose was that. Now it's about the EU living in America, living off America guarantees, and can waltz around the world talking to pretend they still matter in the case of France and UK. Yeah, it's true. Please pray for me. One, my wife left me a pack all alone. I have so far succeeded in laying out my worldly possessions around an empty bag as we hit one. You got this. You got this. Europe wants U.S. to fund NATO so they can keep their socialist systems alive. Yeah. Because if we weren't funding it and they had to pay for their own defense, their communism would never be working. Their socialism would be such an utter failure. We are propping them up. We are propping those socialist cultures up. If NATO is designed to actually end communism/socialism, then we should abandon NATO, because NATO is basically helping prop up socialism, because these countries which don't need to fund their own defense and rely on America's money to fund their defense basically have a massive cost that they're able to take out and then engage in all these socialist programs like healthcare and all these and all these other, completely socialized systems. And basically like, oh, well, look, it works great here. Yeah, it's working great because daddy's taking care of your defense. You want to end socialism? End NATO. With lip service, they always bend over and take it. Liz, China was closed to tourism since forever. Then my dad was on the first tour allowed to Chinese say we have some really cool stuff, Mom and Dad. But wow, awesome. I know for a very long time, no one can get in there. That's cool. The only reason I said I thought we got drafted, I said that is we got drafted to create stop communism in Vietnam. Maybe flawed though, but I always felt it was what it turned into. Perhaps no, and you're not wrong. That's how people look at it. Topless dressage is the sport of communism, and we will lead to its ultimate downfall. Okay, no one wants that. No one wants.
Your legacy will be the peacemaker and not the president that led this country into another war and ended foreign wars. And I've got a question.
I hope it will. I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else. Second is to save a lot of money.
So yeah, they're baiting him into trying to talk about his ego. How do you want to be remembered in history? And you're just to get clips of him basically talking about himself. He's doing a great job. He made a joke with the Washington thing earlier on. He's answering this question great.
I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question. I hope I'll be known and recognized as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing to solve. This is a very dangerous situation. This could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction. If this election were lost, if we didn't win this election, and we won it by a lot, that was a mandate. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won everything. The districts, you look at the areas of red, take a look at a map. This was a big mandate. And this was one of the things I said, we're going to get this thing settled. If we didn't win, I think this could have very well ended up in a third world war. And that would not have been a good situation. What was your second question?
And my second question for President Zelensky. Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see people. Do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting the dignity of this office.
I will wear a costume.
Now, to be fair, I asked the same question of him the last time I was like, why doesn't this guy ever wear a suit? I don't understand. We all know that your country is war torn, but it's like, yeah, well, let's hear his answer.
After this war will finish,
Okay.
yes, maybe something like yours, yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper. Thank you.
So he's obviously pissed off by that question. He's pissed off by the question. Why are you upset by the question? If you're justified in not wearing a suit, you shouldn't be upset by the question. You could see in his face and his response there where he's trying to be snarky that the other guy's suit wasn't, saying it wasn't so great. And as soon as he said that, when I first heard him say that, I was like, yeah, you got hundreds of billions to spend on all this on a much more expensive suits than anyone in that room is wearing, including Trump. And you can see from his face here that he is he's very aggravated that he's being thrown. It's a fair question. It's a fair question. You're meeting the leader of the free world. Like, what is the look here that's happening?
Thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have...
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine. Yeah, sure. Hopefully I won't have to send very much because hopefully we're going to have it finished.
You see, that right there is a security guarantee. I'm going to give you what you need. I'm going to give you what you need. That's what he's saying. He's like, I don't want to tell you how much it is because hopefully you're not going to need much. And if I tell you that I'm going to give you X amount, then you feel like, okay, that's going to cover us for the next 6 months. You see, this is he's telling Zelensky without saying it, I'm going to make sure you're properly provided for here. But if I give you a number of shipments, you're going to start calculating how long will that last me? How long will that last me? And if I know I have America guaranteeing that they're going to give me 6 months worth of armaments, in that case, I can be a hard ass for the next 4 months. And if he says a very low number, in that case, he's going to be like, well, I'm going to need more arms in a month and a half. He's not going to be happy. So that's why he's like, look, I'm going to cover you. But you sort of need to be, you're coming in here saying no compromise with the killer. So that's why he doesn't want to give a number here. It's very obvious if you think about, like, if you were in Trump's position and you were you're looking at himself, clearly he established himself as, I'm looking to get a peace deal done here, and I look at myself as a mediator between this guy sitting next to me and Putin. So yeah, and I want him to know that I'm gonna help keep him strong against Putin in case Putin is himself going to be a douchebag in his negotiation. So that way I'll stop Putin from doing that. But I don't want you to become a douchebag because you feel as if you have this promise that I'm giving you a year's worth of armaments. So I'm going to make sure you're taken care of. You're going to give me the minerals. I'm going to make sure you're taken care of. And then we're going to go work a peace deal. But I can't give you a number on that. And it's stupid for him to even start giving out numbers. Because if he gives out any numbers, Putin's going to listen to this whole thing. He's going to know what those numbers are. And if I give him too low a number, Putin's going to be like, all right, I'll wait a month, and then you're going to be dry. And if I give him too high a number, then he's going to be a jerk. The only way to keep them actually talking with each other is for me to just give him a tacit guarantee that, don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging here. Trump is being perfect as to how to facilitate this deal, a deal between Russia and Ukraine actually coming to fruition by being vague. He has to be vague. The press instigated this clash at the press. Well, the press is always going to want to try and get numbers. And Trump is being particularly cryptic, and I'm saying that's the right move. Dressage. Top. Horse dancing? Topless Putin on a horse? Oh, God. It went over my head. I'm still not sure I get it. Dressage? Dressage. I don't get it. Tracksuit. If he wore a suit, people would claim he stole the money for that suit. We all know he stole plenty of money. For all we know, his tracksuit cost thousands, probably. DNU, a link to play as you see fit. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll try and check that out. The more I listen to Zelensky, the more appealing Putin sounds. I think they both suck. USA, USA, USA. That's what we promised 94 Budapest and nothing. No. We also promised we weren't going to expand NATO eastward, and we saw how that held up. I'm simply saying everything Trump is doing here is making it more conducive to the actually reaching a peace deal. And I understand he wants to know he wants to know numbers. That's what Zelensky's going to want. But there's good reason for him to hold back in that.
Looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement because we needed what they had. And we're treating, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, sure, the answer is yes, but hopefully we won't have to send much because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean you'll provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet because I want to get the deal done. You fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you say it over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stopped shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably, we have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over.
Is he shaking his head?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Is he shaking his head?
I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is.
Why are you shaking your head now?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, thank you. You hosted Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though, re-engaging Russia in diplomatic relations, something that previous leaders lacked the conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Well, that's why I like him. One American News does a great job. I like the question. I think it's a very good question. It's a pathway to peace. It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus, we're very much involved. We got involved. It's too bad we got involved because there should have been no involvement because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money to give to Hamas. They were stone cold broke. And then under Biden, they became rich as hell. They went from no money to $300 billion in a period of 4 years. And they gave a lot of that money away. And you see what happened. And that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
If I can answer. Yes, if I can answer. Sorry. Please.
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Even though I think he's a great guy, by the way. But I don't know if you two like each other. But you know what? I think he's dressed.
I like this guy.
I think he's dressed beautiful.
So I have more serious things than answer on side question.
Sure,
I will answer on more serious
good
question
statement.
if I can. Yeah, so please, about security guarantees and about just ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak. It will not work.
I'm just going to point out my poll here, which has almost 1,000. It's got 850 votes. 87% of you think he should have worn a suit. So, yeah, very strong in favor of saying, why the hell are you not wearing a suit?
Just ceasefire will never work because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency, from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken his own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke
No,
to
no,
me.
you were the president.
He
You were
never
the
broke
president
He
during,
never broke to me.
in 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had during those periods, he had conversations with our side. And we had Normandy format, you know, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our land.
See, now he's coming with his hat in hand, and the demands are already getting higher. Now we need an ongoing guarantee for what? For when? For like the next 100 years? Like this is what we're responsible to do for the next 100 years? We have to, because you're coming to us with this? What is this? What the hell is this?
Today, you know, he knows that we have all the world knows that we have meeting. Yes, why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and etc. Ballistic. So he knows that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security. When we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need USA backstop. If there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from
then you should be giving a lot more.
Because they don't want to divide.
Then you should be giving a lot more.
Connection between the United States and the
a lot
main
more
and strongest ally and Europeans. And this is
because now you're asking. It's one thing to say we need security guarantees until we work a ceasefire. Now you're asking that we should basically be sitting here and you want to rent America out indefinitely, seemingly for the next, I don't know, at least the rest of Putin's life. That we need to be there as your big brother. That's a lot more. That's a lot more of a guarantee. That's a lot more. If that's what you're asking for, this is already a whole other. This is a whole other ask. This is a whole other ask. Trump is trying to say to him, look, if I get Putin to the table and he makes a deal with me, he's going to honor that deal, at least as long as I'm here. He's going to be honoring that deal through 2028. At least I'm telling you now, if he makes a deal with me, he's not going to break that deal. He's not going to break it. And Zelensky is saying, I need to have your intellectual property for your air defense, and I need to have, monies and guarantees, and I don't even know what he's thinking. Like when we're saying what U.S. troops next thing to go into Ukraine. This is a whole other ask. You're starting now a whole other set of demands here, which I'll tell you right now, that's a heck of a lot more than 300 billion or 500 billion. That could be trillions over the next several years. That's what he's talking about. We need a heck of a lot more than and the money we're getting back. The money we're getting back supposedly is coming either to American big companies that they're getting minerals. It's not coming to your taxpayer. You're not getting that. I mean, this is a whole other ask he's asking for here now. It doesn't sound like anything that okay. All right. This is kind of crazy.
Crucial. This is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all these systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop. And will go further and further. He doesn't want.
And he's saying he will stop. So now Trump is saying he is going to stop. Now, to be fair, if Trump is correct that Putin respects Trump enough that he's not going to violate against while Trump's in office, Zelensky has a basis to be concerned that, well, okay, what's going to happen in 2029 when you're done? What happens then? If Putin's still around, which every reason to assume he will be. So is Putin going to listen to the next guy who comes in? So that's a fair concern, but raising this here with the press is kind of, it's undercutting and basically devaluing what Trump is trying to bring to him.
He hates us, you know? It's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation. He thinks, and he shared these thoughts, I think maybe with your team also, I don't know. But with all the Europeans, in media, officially and not, he always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, and such life like Ukrainian. No, he really doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us.
See, he seems like he's talking crazy now. He sounds like he's very triggered by Putin. Trump could see these rude body language. Vance couldn't see his rude body language. Vance could, and he was over that BS. Why do you think it was good to call him out for the disrespect? Well, we'll see. We're not only there. He wants retribution. Yeah, he does. He does seem to want retribution.
And you are right, Mr. President. That's 2%. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
Mr. President, after
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
They have to pay.
This question.
This is the rule. This is the rule of the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay.
What?
This is the rule. Putin began
Really?
this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay.
Really? Did Germany pay for World War II? Because I don't remember that happening. That's not the rule of all war. That's not at all the rule of all war. What are you talking about?
Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billion, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Oh my God. Wow. 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 I can see why Vance getting mad here.
Question that you didn't like, because I want to know.
Wait, 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know if you want to position yourself in the middle between Russia and
Yes.
Ukraine or on the Ukraine's.
No, I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved. And it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up? One more question about U.S. troops in Europe. After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country.
Yeah.
Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO.
I like that answer. Poland has been great. Poland's been the best country in Europe for the last several years. So, I mean, maybe Hungary is up there also. But yeah, they've been a lot better than in Western Europe. I like this answer. It's almost like he's like, oh, I'm not promising NATO. I don't know, but I like Poland.
You know, as you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood, you know.
What about
100%.
Baltics?
What he said here is 100% correct. It's their socialist policies which makes it impossible for them to defend themselves. Bad news, I found some old shoes. I like polish them up and they're airing out in the garage so they can join the suitcase pile upon drying. Is that what BN stands for? I assume it's bad news. It doesn't sound like bad news to me. Didn't see this part. I booted him already. He's being a jerk. He's being a jerk.
The Baltics, they got a lot of, it's a tough neighborhood too, but we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed to NATO. But NATO has to step up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between. Why is the United States in for so much more money and other things? as Europe. With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful, but we have put in far more than they have. And I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
Yeah, please, go ahead.
about the agreement again today, what changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
What was the
I'm just-
deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed. I didn't think we were going to make a deal. And we ended up.
Trump gave in a lot more. That's what it is. He gave in. He gave in and saying that the funding is going to be working for reinvestment into Ukraine. So it's almost like it's through American companies. So America is getting sort of a taste back, but it's also helping redevelop Ukraine. So, but I don't think he wants to say that because I think I don't think he wants to express that so directly because I think he feels as if he gave more than he really wanted to.
Making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, what and how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin?
I don't know, but
These
well, they
circumstances?
don't like each other. I can tell you that. Okay? They do not like each other. This is not a love match. And it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much, I'm going to be very nice, run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never.
Oh, I'm going to be nice. He's incompetent. That is being nice. That's a generous assessment. A generous assessment is that Biden was incompetent. That is being nice. I'm going to be nice. He's incompetent. Oh my God. Everything about Trump is amazing.
Have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that
Very
nobody ever
aggravating.
heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started. You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
Mr. President.
Sorry, just a second. About any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that Ukraine, more than Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war.
Really?
But at the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at the will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending the line.
How?
And they have real life. And our people are
How is
dying.
that?
That's why.
That's crap. That's not true. That's not true. He has no. Why would anyone think he has any interest in the EU beyond Ukraine? Why? What's that based on? How could Zelensky not see that a vested interest in the existence of the U.S. Ukraine is worth more than whatever metaphorical boots on the ground he could have asked for? It answers the question, why do we care? And it's long term. Yeah. I said this I started here. I started by him he's so stupid. Everything he's doing here is dumb. It makes no sense. Hey, Joe, God bless you. Gotta let chat know how awesome you are. I'm doing my own YouTube thing now, so I'm not here often, but it's because of you. I'm so glad. God bless you. Mo Zamboni, who's done some editing work for me in the past, and now having his own channel. That's awesome. Go get him, brother. Good luck to you. Matt Govna Cheddar Freehar. Govna. The mineral deal in defense of these lands is the security guarantee. Asking for more is a poison pill to the end of the war. Yep. And he's so stupid. I don't think he wants to end the war.
They helped us. And also it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them.
Why?
Because they've been in
What's
the
that based on?
USSR. You know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there,
What is
he will
your
not
fact based on? What is that based on?
stay. You will fight. Your American soldiers. It doesn't matter. Do you have ocean or not? Your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine?
What the hell are you talking about? What the heck are you talking about? This is crap. He's sitting there in the White House gaslighting.
Maybe Kiev or Odessa, which is going to be a 30-year-old Black Sea.
It was my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No.
And a lot of
You
things
have
have
to come, Mr. President. You have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school.
What
Sometimes.
the hell was that? You cut him off? What the heck?
No.
And a lot not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No.
And a lot of
You have to come,
things
Mr. President. You have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools.
So
or
now he's
online,
cutting Trump
but
off.
We live. Ukraine is fighting, and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers.
Yeah,
He lost
sure.
everything.
Sure.
Yes. So,
Mr. President, more. I mentioned Poland.
Please, go ahead.
When did you last speak with President Putin? And what did he say that?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
I've dealt with him for a
He's
long
an
time.
impediment.
He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him.
Yeah, first he's saying Americans are going to be on the ground. I agree with, yeah. This guy has spent the last 3 years having the world kiss his ass. And it's starting to show at this point here. It's starting to show that he thinks he thinks his farts don't stink. Yeah. You probably knee deep with deep state money laundering. Probably. We saw with the Sam Bankman-Fried deal that Ukraine was a massive owner in that cryptocurrency. And then some of that money is cycling back into the Capitol, and both Democrats and Republican congressmen and senators getting paid off by XBF and Sam Bankman-Fried's stupid thing. Ridiculous. But we're getting closer and closer because it's the last 10 minutes when everything explodes. Everything's going to explode. So you have a comment, get it out now, because we're going to have to go through this 10 minutes and I need to sort of zero in here and hone in, because this is where the fireworks really start. I earned the beer break. Tiny Rocky Boy can't have any. Okay. Trump just wants a reasonable deal to placate the left so he can go back to firing people and cutting blow. It's impossible to deal with this guy. He's showing an increasingly aggravating side to himself.
So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do, is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess, because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved in the back.
17 months. just gonna pause this for a second. I'm getting out the last of the chats here. Lives are more important than land, dirt, and rocks. Well, American lives, that's for sure. But yeah. If the war ends and elections can take place, and I agree with you. I think he wants this thing to drag out. I really do. All right. It was clearly building up. Trump was actually patient with him. He's been very patient. Very patient.
Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship.
Which is an outright lie.
But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on its.
If that was his read, it was stupid.
How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, we have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of theirs, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point.
This is Keir Starmer, and the UK has been basically engaging in ridiculous censorship. JD Vance went to the EU and said, cut it out, like recognize freedom of speech. And that's what's healthy. He did a tour around the EU and gave a couple of speeches there talking about that. Because the UK is basically throwing people in jail because they don't like your Facebook post, which is just asinine. And frankly, it's the start of tyranny.
The vice president made at Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
I'm going to say this. That you're noting the 2-year anniversary of your father-in-law's passing is the ultimate compliment. It's the ultimate compliment to the man. Obviously, I don't know anything about the man. But if you're actually noting the anniversary is that, and it's meaningful to you, that's a reflection, because, people treat their kids one way, and they tend to, too many treat their in-laws completely differently, their sons-in-law. So the fact that you're coming to me saying I should say something nice about your father-in-law is actually the most remarkable statement about the man. That he's someone who actually was able to create and forge relationships with people who, in scenarios that most people tend to struggle. I'm sure that he was a very loved person by a lot of people, and that's a reflection of him as a man. So cheers to him on his passing. It's a blessing for God to watch over his soul. Hopefully that your wife and all of his offspring can grow from everything you've learned from him. So and welcome to membership. All right. Here's my theory. Zelensky has a gun to his head by those who back him to get into World War III. Remember, Zelensky wants Ukraine to be part of NATO. If he agrees to any deals, Zelensky will be assassinated. I don't know about that. I think it just feels like it lines his pockets. But we're about to get into the fireworks here. Let's do it. So we see how there's been seedlings for it. There have been seedlings. First, he was chafed by being asked about the suit by some reporter there. Then he's cutting off Trump. He's starting to say that I need these guarantees and more guarantees, and using very harsh language against Putin. And I'm going to need guarantees that extend long after the ceasefire. And he's taking this deal into a little bit of a new direction here. And frankly, cutting off Trump and rolling his eyes and sitting there like a punk. You can see, they say before World War I that the world was a powder keg, and you can see that there was different alliances and promises and issues and and chafing at each other, which led to World War I. Not that I think this is going to lead to World War III, but the world is described as a powder keg leading into World War I, and you can see the sticks of dynamite being dropped here and there, leading into the explosion, which we're coming up to right now.
Mr. President,
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the president's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President,
On the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all
A
critical?
little bit, we'll see,
On LNG?
but we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world by far.
What
So
about-
no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase US LNG as part of the deal, or is
No.
that on the table at all?
No,
Some of those-
we don't need that.
Some of those
Mr. President, I
minerals
just
are in
wanted
the
to ask you
Mr.
about,
President.
you just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you.
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay. And how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am, I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well,
there?
we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about. So we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian
They'll be
forces?
protected. The
European
agreement
forces,
will protect them.
U.S.
The
forces?
agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement. You know?
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder
You
why.
know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous
Why
questions.
the confidence that Putin won't
Focus
fire-
on surviving because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive.
People
Let's
have
go.
confidence.
One more, since I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America.
Nice.
For the good of
Yes.
the world.
Yes.
I'm aligned with the world.
Yes.
And I want to get this thing over with. You see
Yes.
the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side is exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Great question. Great response there by JD. And I know this is the touchstone moment. Here it comes. There we go. There we go. So you're basically saying we need to engage in diplomacy here. We need to be adults. And yeah, we know everyone doesn't, everyone dislikes each other, but thumping your chest doesn't lead towards productive conversations. Doesn't lead towards that. And here we go.
Sure. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So he occupied it, our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014 and
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. What are you talking about? He really invaded in 2021. What are you talking about? Into 2022. What are you talking about? When he took over Crimea, he had to take over Crimea because you cut him off because you had that fake, that ridiculous Maidan uprising, which led towards him having no access to warm weather ports. So what was you expecting him to do? You think he's going to give you back Crimea? That's never happening. You are never, ever getting back Crimea. You're sitting here bitching about Crimea? Crimea is gone. It's Russia. Okay, Crimea belongs to Russia. You're not getting it back. It's kind of like that little piece of Michigan that's stuck on Canada mainland. That's it. You're not getting it back. It's not happening. It's not happening. So you're sitting here saying the situation hasn't changed. No, the situation has dramatically changed. Yeah, there was some skirmishes that were happening on the eastern portion there in an area that's controlled, that is largely Russian population. That frankly, you would have been wise if you just said, okay, we'll give you the Donetsk and Luhansk and leave us alone before this war started. That would have been the wise thing. But now he's saying, I want freaking Crimea back. What the hell is wrong with you?
Been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broke
come back to
the
this later,
ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
So what are you saying? There should be no diplomacy? Is that what you're trying to say? That we shouldn't have any conversations with him? That we should just keep arming you forever and that you should just keep fighting this war? You're going to have to sit down and talk to him, and you're going to have to trust him somewhat that he actually means it, and that perhaps because Trump is the one who's in power, he's going to actually abide by it. Otherwise, there's no way of reaching a deal here at all. So what the hell is the point of doing any of this? This bastard.
We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you
He's calling him JD. Like is he calling him Vlad? My God. No, his title is Mr. Vice President. That's what his title is. That's what his title is, Vlad.
Mean
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? That you say what problems we have?
I have been.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, okay. So you had no problems. Then go. Then leave. You're fine. Everything's fine. Then go. You don't need us. Go. Get the hell out of here. Unbelievable, this guy.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
This is a check question. This is a watch what you're saying question. Watch your attitude here sucks. You're sitting here with your crossed arms and saying, we're not going to engage with diplomacy because Putin is someone we can't have any conversations with. And saying that we don't really know what's going on there. It's your attitude here sucks. Okay. And frankly, F the EU for standing behind Zelensky on this crap. And F the left and the Democrats who are sitting here thinking that Trump or Vance were being disrespectful. There is nothing remotely disrespectful about what they're saying. They're simply saying to him, hey, look, you have to actually try to figure out how you can end this war. Has Zelensky given any indication, other than claiming he wants the war to end, that he has any sort of plan for how this war is going to end, short of America giving him every stinking thing he's demanding? That America is going to keep Putin in check forever, which is basically like saying we're not going to put Ukraine in NATO, but we're going to treat them like they're NATO. F that. F Zelensky. Go to hell. Unbelievable. The audacity of this guy. The friggin' audacity. The audacity. Sit there with your stupid folded arms and your stupid little black jumpsuit, or whatever the hell your stupid thing you're wearing, and you come in here and start saying that you have to sit here promising that you're going to be defending us for the next century. Go to hell. What a bastard. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I thought they took it over physically, but I don't know. Unbelievable.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure. First, trying to prevent the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
Wow. Wow. What are you threatening? You're saying that we're under attack here? Wow. Is he an idiot? He either doesn't want this, he either does not want this war to end, or he's an idiot.
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not
because he's saying, oh yeah, you're going to feel it. You better do this. Otherwise, you better do what I want. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Go to hell.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate.
Wow. What the heck was that? You saw that little eye roll? What the heck is that? I'm not in a position. No, you're not in any freaking position to dictate. What a jerk.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said they should
Acting
have.
like
You
a
said
punk.
thank you once.
Even now that you're trying to interrupt Trump while he's telling you what you're doing wrong is disrespectful. Sometimes you sit there and you take it and you actually maybe reassess how you came into this situation. Wow. Trump was amazingly patient with him. Amazingly patient.
This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
that you said thank
Even
you.
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States.
Trump. Vance is like, now, you know what, to hell, F you. I'm going to basically stoke it. This is Vance stoking it up. This is Vance stoking it up, like how he was sitting there campaigning for Kamala. So you basically tried keeping us out of office, and now you haven't said thank you to us once.
States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking.
Oh, punch this punk in the face. Punch this punk in the face.
The country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
No, you don't know. You're
You
sitting here
have a
saying you're not.
damn good chance of
We are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
He's an idiot. Why are you trying to overtalk Trump? What are you thinking? What the hell? He doesn't want this war to end. He has no desire to have this war ending. Either that or he's an incompetent, he's a stupid, stupid man. And I don't believe he's a stupid man. I think he doesn't want this war to end. This is him. This is 100% him. 100% him. Because he's, my God, wow. What a disgrace, what an embarrassment. I'm so glad that Trump is lecturing. He's stupid enough to try over talking Trump. That's what he's doing here. Did you forget about this entire dynamic here? Did you forget about this dynamic? You know, I'm going to tell you something. We're going to come back to, don't worry, we're going to finish this up here. But this is what's critical to remember here. I first heard about this lady Lawgic. I was out shopping on Friday. I came back and she's like, did you hear what happened with Trump and Zelensky? So I was like, no, what happened? So she's like, I'm not going to kid you. I saw the last, like, a 5-minute clip. And she's like, it sort of seemed like Trump was almost bullying him, because that's the clip, this clip here obviously is what she saw. So it almost is like, she's like, and like when he's trying to talk, that Trump wouldn't let him talk. And she's like, it reminded me of when you, me, myself, were debating destiny, that you were having a conversation, and as soon as you started talking, he would overtalk you. So I was like, it may have looked that way, but you need to understand that the nature of the dynamic as to what's happening in that exchange is very different from when I'm trying to debate some lefty. She's like, you remember how you said to Destiny, like, why you need me here? You could just have a cardboard cutout of me. This is what I said to Destiny, in case you missed it. I was like, I don't know. Like, every time I started answering a question, he would cut me off and he said, I know what you're going to say, and just start talking. At a certain point, I said to him, I don't know why you need me here. You could just have a cardboard cutout of me. Tell everyone what I think and how stupid it is. When you're saying things that I've never said or no one would believe. So, and she's like, that's what it seemed like Trump was doing to Zelensky. So I said, you need to understand the nature of the dynamic of the conversation that I was having with Destiny is very different than Zelensky coming to Trump. When I'm having an intellectual debate with Destiny and we're trying to talk about politics or something like that, so she's giving one side of the aisle, I'm giving the other side of the aisle. The point is we're evenly balanced. Over here, no, Zelensky's coming for a favor. So he's looking for a handout. He's looking for Trump to stand up and protect him. So yeah, you know what? There is a different nature there. There's a different way you conduct yourself in that setting. When I'm sitting there, in order to have a debate with someone from the left, we have to actually be having equal footing, equal time to talk, and there's got to be that sort of thing. That's not at all the same thing that's happening here. She's like, yeah, that's true. It is very different. So yeah, Trump is over talking him here, but he's been a jerk and an idiot. because you have to recognize you're sitting here with the hat in hand. Please, please help me. Please, please help me. I need your help. You're sitting here over talking him. He's sitting here trying to explain to you how disrespectful and what a jerk you're being. And instead of saying, wow, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean for it to come out that way, I apologize, you're sitting here trying to just keep going with the same idiocy. Are you joking? Are you an idiot?
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave
You've been
you
alone.
this
Yeah.
stupid.
He's like, you've been alone. You've been alone. You haven't been alone. You've been taking handouts from the whole world.
I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and
voted
you men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
Even
It's
that
gonna be
hand
very
gesture,
hard.
I heard it from Putin. Like you're lying. You're an idiot. That we wouldn't have been able to get by without you. You know what? F you. Go. Do it without us. Go. Show us what you can do. Show us. Idiot.
Thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I
Except-
said a lot of
except
times
that
thank
there-
you
except
to
that-
American people.
Except that there are
The American
disagreements.
people, not to this administration. I said it's the American people, not to this administration. This is a jerk.
And let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are
I
dying.
can tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers. Listen,
Don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a
Tell 'em.
ceasefire right
Tell 'em.
now, I tell you, you take it. So the bullets
You grab
stop
it.
flying and your men stop
Of course,
getting
grab
killed.
it.
of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
It doesn't
with
matter for
me.
you what.
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
It
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a.
And even that, like saying, like he's challenging him, saying that if you get a ceasefire for him, it's not worth the paper it's written on. Even that is disrespectful to Trump. He's telling you, look, he will honor it, and you're sitting. So, like, why are you stupidly claiming that it's not going to work? Because then you could say, hey, where are the guarantees? If in fact it doesn't work, it'd be like, well, you gave me guarantees. Now where are they? He does not want this war to end.
That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me.
Who gives a damn that it was our president? Who cares? You're so stupid. This is ridiculous. He's trying to kill this deal. He is trying. This is what he wants. This is what he wants here. I'll tell you right now what this jackass wants. This jackass came here looking to kill this deal and then come to EU and turn the EU against America. This guy is a vile schmuck. Okay, that's what he is. He's sitting here saying that's why he refused to downplay what the EU did. That's why he's been standing there defending the EU, saying they did just as much for us as America did, because he's basically figuring, I don't want to have this war end. I don't want this whole thing to go away. I simply want to make Trump look like he's too much of a bully and come back to the EU and say, look, I really need your help. Look how mean Trump is. He's trying to play Trump here. That is what's happening here. What a jerk. You can burn to the ground.
That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins. A guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful.
See, he rolled his eyes again.
Because let me tell you, you don't have the cards.
Now,
With
sneering?
us, you have the cards.
What a jerk.
But without us, you
What
don't
an
have
utter
any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make
Uh,
because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia
Oh, you saw how he sat bolt upright like that?
understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went
Even that little head. What? I'll tell you, he's making me pro-Putin. He's making me pro-Putin. This little Napoleon here.
A hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia, the 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And
that's what I was saying at the I never saw this clip, and that's what I was saying at the very beginning. And throughout this whole thing, he doesn't want to promise him, I'm going to give you X number of javelins, because then he's going to say, well, I can fight this war. So that's why he doesn't want to put a number on the guarantees.
I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks. I need the back We'll see. I don't know. Guys, come on. Thank you.
Wow. I'm going to tell you right now, Trump handled that masterfully. Everything he was doing there. And that guy's a little punk. Wow. I like the little tap on the arm there. I like that. All right, let me catch up. A bunch of chats came in here. Did he mutter the word forbid and then threaten us, and Trump stepped in and we're all cheer cause now? How dare he threaten us? What is that word? Someone tell me what that word is. What is the word? What is the word that you all saying he said? I'm watching the chat now. Tell me the word. What's the word that you think he said? Because I didn't see it. I don't know the word. Sukkah? Go back to when this is when Vance is talking.
More than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he
I
killed.
was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but-
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022,
I don't catch that at all.
the situation the same. That people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go.
You DM me
We
the clip.
signed him with gas contract.
All right, let me see if I can find it. Maybe if she DM me the clip, maybe I can find this faster. Let me see if I can find it faster. Now I'm curious. Let me see if I can find it fast because I don't want to go through this whole. You're saying a little piece of Minnesota, Johnny Reb? No, I'm talking about that little. It's not Canada. It's not Canada. I'm talking about. I wasn't thinking of that piece. I was thinking of that strip of land up in northern Michigan. Let me see what he's got going on here.
I've actually
This is the clip that Kiki shared with me here.
watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. And seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people.
Wow. F this guy. F him. Wow. Unbelievable. What a bastard. That is crazy. Wow. I have a lot of stuff to cover about people talking about what happened coming out of this. Ukraine lost what, 10 to 15% of people eligible to fight? Probably 2 times double that, so 20-30 of decent soldiers. Why are we entertaining anything he says? I think a lot more. I think they're down to like 10%. Watching Zelensky, I'm reminding of a Dune quote: "No more terrible disaster before your people than for them to fall into the hands of a hero." Zelensky is a fanatic who will never stop fighting. He won't. Zelensky later confirmed with SAG that he was channeling Tony Montoya in a twice-worn Jason Bourne costume purchased from Spirit Halloween for €5. That's funny. Curious question: before the second impeachment, did Zelensky call Trump or Trump called Zelensky? I mean the first one, right? I don't know. Wait till the last moment JD gives Trump an arm tip. Yeah, no, that was great. Ukraine is under martial law. No elections by their constitution. Martial law is ended by the president of Ukraine. Perverse, insensitive, much. He has every reason to keep this war going. Explain to who what was going on. What do you want me to explain to? Tell Layla. Yeah, I did. She agreed with me. That's a totally different thing. Tell Lawgic that Z calls Vance a bitch multiple times in Ukraine, Russian, thinking no one will notice. He's sitting there like a child, like just sort of chafing and rolling his eyes and interrupting Trump. He was a jerk. Zelensky makes Putin look rational. And the world realized Donald Trump isn't playing. Yep. Destiny didn't wear a suit, dealt with appropriately. There you go. Maybe Zelensky is Putin's puppet, eh? Trump sends Zelensky back to his room without dinner. Vance asked Z if he said thank you, and Z called Vance a sukkah. C-SPAN edited that out too. Wow. So maybe my C-SPAN version isn't good. Wow. So Cenk Uygur writing, here's an honest take no one's going to be happy with. And I thought this was really pretty middle of the road, so I want to start here. Zelensky started the debate in the Oval Office by challenging what Vance said. Okay, that's true. Trump and Vance belittling our ally publicly takes away critical leverage we need to negotiate peace. Huge win for Russia. No, he doesn't want to negotiate peace. He has zero. He showed zero inclination to negotiating peace. Europe says this is an existential threat for them, and then they should act like it and fund the war or help get the peace in a more productive way. Yep. Both Biden and Trump have mangled this and accidentally encouraged more Russian aggression. I don't think Trump mangled this at all. This is a guy who came here not looking to get a deal done. This is not how you act if you want to get a deal done. No one acts this way. There was this report that came out breaking one of Norway's largest fuel companies, Haltbach bunkers, will no longer provide fuel to U.S. forces after Trump's mistreatment and disrespect of Ukrainian President Zelensky yesterday. F you, mistreatment of Zelensky. They should have arrested him. They said no fuel to Americans. They're encouraging other Norwegians. They shouldn't have arrested him, but they showed great restraint and not. They said no fuel to Americans. They're encouraging other Norwegians and Europeans to do the same. Trump is making America the adversary of our allies and the ally of our adversaries. Yeah, so this is what they put out. Haltbach bunkers. We have today been witness to the biggest crap show ever presented live on TV by the current American president and his vice president. Go to hell, you stupid EU pansies. Huge credit President Ukraine restraining himself. Restraining himself? He acted like a child. Act like a child, like a punk. Should have been slapped across the face. And for keeping calm, even though USA put a backstabbing TV show. Go to hell. You're a jerk. It made us sick. Short and sweet as was always decided to immediately stop as fuel provider to American forces in Norway and their ships called Norwegian ports. No fuel to Americans. We encourage all Norwegians and Europeans to follow example. Slava Ukrainia. Go to hell, Ukraine. Well, this is what they put out there. Norway put this out. This statement from the Minister of Defense from Norway. We've seen reports raising concerns about support for U.S. Navy vessels in Norway. This is not in line with Norwegian government policy. I can confirm that all requested support has been provided. The U.S. and Norway maintain a close and strong defense cooperation. American forces will continue to receive and support the supply and support they require from Norway. So at least it's not the country of Norway. It's perhaps some woke losers running a company. So all these threats from people like, oh my God, the calamity is coming here. And then you have
this is what
idiot lefties like this idiot. This doofus, Representative Seth Moulton from Massachusetts. This is what the left is like.
What putting the American people first looks like. And he thanked Trump and he thanked Vance for standing up for our nation. And that's what they said. This is
he's talking about Byron Donald said.
This is what putting the American people first looks like. And he thanked Trump and he thanked Vance for standing up for our nation. And that's what they said. This is the us versus them, that it's America
really?
First. That's
really because every American I've heard from is embarrassed, including a lot.
You're an idiot. You're an embarrassment.
A lot of veterans. Completely embarrassed.
Veteran is embarrassed. What crap?
By this draft dodging commander in chief who wants to sell us out
to
Putin and be Putin's puppet.
You're a loser. Oh, be Putin's puppet. Unless you're funding Ukraine's war, you're Putin's puppet. Go to hell, loser. This is why you guys lost.
To this pogue coward vice president who's never even bothered to visit Ukraine.
I don't know what POG means in this and never bothered to visit Ukraine. He's been in office all of 37 days, jackass.
I mean, Lindsey Graham's been to Ukraine several times. I've been to Ukraine. Can't even bother to.
You put on a tough guy face here. Stupid.
Visit as a member of Congress to understand what's going on in the ground.
He's not a member of Congress. He's your freaking president, idiot.
To understand why we're spending American taxpayer dollars defending NATO, defending our allies.
He's not part of NATO, jackass. Stop gaslighting. Ukraine's not part of NATO, doofus. How much money did you collect from the Ukraine checks we cut?
In preventing Trump, for preventing Putin.
Yeah, because you confuse Trump and Putin all the time. Because you're an idiot. Because that's what you think of Trump. Because you hate America.
From running.
At least you don't love America more than you love your own freaking bank accounts.
All over Europe, including the American troops in Europe. I don't know who these Republicans are talking to, but they're not talking to freedom-loving Americans.
Of course they are. They're talking to Americans who are freedom-loving and care about America, unlike you.
People who fight and stand up for American values like Ukraine is doing. They apparently want to side with dictators. And I'll tell you, in private, like when I was at the Munich Security Conference, sitting with Lindsey Graham and others, meeting with Zelensky, they're all on the same page. We're all on the same page.
Of course.
About wanting to support the right side of this conflict.
No, you just want the conflict to keep going on. That's what you want. That's what you want. You want the conflict to keep going on. Trump's the only one trying to end this damn thing.
So what kind of things are they saying there?
They're
saying different things.
They're so scared of Donald Trump, they can't tell the truth.
You're an idiot. You're a doofus. You don't give the slightest damn about America. You don't care about American interests. There's no end to this war in sight if you keep listening to Zelensky. That we should be supporting them forever. Bankrupt ourselves. To hell with our own. You know what? You spent the last 4 years tearing down our own border. F their border. Okay? Go to hell.
But you're saying specifically Lindsey Graham was saying different things there than he said today.
Oh, come on. That doesn't take it.
Right, but you're saying specific, no, but specifically Senator Graham
changes his story every time Donald Trump changes his story. We've seen that for years.
Doofus. Here's Keir Starmer. My support for Ukraine is unwavering. The UK stands with you, Zelensky. I guess this is the guy who loves censoring his own people. So I guess he loves tyrants.
You're very, very welcome here in Downing Street. As you heard from the cheers, you have full backing across the United Kingdom. We stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take, and to achieve.
Good. Go pony up those British pounds. Go pony them up. Pony up those British pounds. Leave us the hell out of it.
What we both want to achieve.
By the way, get us the hell out of NATO, please, Donald Trump.
Last
Thank you very much, here, Prime Minister, happy to be here. To global.
You want to stop World War III, Donald? Get us out of NATO, because these clowns don't know what the hell they're doing.
The United Kingdom, such big support from the very beginning of this war. Thank you. We are very happy in Ukraine that we have such friends.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Loser. Stupid little piano music drama. Oh, there's Keir Starmer standing with Zelensky. Unbelievable. Keir Starmer. Stupid leftist clown. There's more. There's more. All the freaking pansies. Emmanuel Macron coming out today. There's an aggressor, Russia. There's a victim, Ukraine. We were right to help Ukraine sanction Russia 3 years ago and to keep doing so. By we, I mean Americans, Europeans, Canadians, the Japanese, and many others. Thank you to all who have been helping and continue to do so. And respect to those who have been fighting since the beginning, because they're fighting for their dignity, their independence, their children, and the security of Europe. They're not fighting for the security of Europe. That's crap. That's complete crap. Why don't you pony up the French francs for that, Emmanuel Macron? Why don't you keep shoving more francs into Zelensky's coffers? All the $300 billion that we gave them, of which they say 50 to 70% of which we have no idea what the hell happened to it. Yeah, great plan. Great plan with a guy who plans on basically never having an election again and never letting this war end, while he's demanding that he gets these assurances. Go get assurance. Go give him your assurances. I'm sure he'll feel really great about France standing up for him. He'll feel really safe under French protection because everyone knows that France is just a fierce military. Oh, wait, Napoleon's dead. So probably not so much anymore. Unbelievable. All the idiots on the left. The audacity of these EU leaders stabbing Trump in the back. He should tell him, you know what? F you, to hell with NATO. Not because of what Norway's stupid little woke diesel company is putting out there. No. It's just be like, you know what? To hell with all you. We don't need NATO anymore. We're done with NATO. Back out. Or you want us to be in NATO? Pay us. You owe us $5 trillion. We want it within the next 4 years. Cobble together the money. Pay for it. You owe us $5 trillion minimum, $5 to $7 trillion. Yeah. So give us our $5 trillion back because we're tired of your crap. You sit here like this is stabbing Trump in the back. You come out with a statement like this today, yesterday, hours after that meeting. You come out with this. To hell with you. You go defend them. You want to stay in NATO? Pay us back our money. It's clearly our money. Everyone says, oh, we have to do it because we want to buy goodwill. This is the goodwill we bought. These clowns siding with Ukraine. To hell with you. To hell with you. Oh, yeah. And by the way, NATO, UN too. We don't need it. I agree with this guy here who wrote, time to leave NATO and the UN. Keir Starmer, you have full backing unit UK. Keir Starmer gives Ukraine billions to keep the war. These people are sick. Money laundering, F Ukraine. Norway fuel supplier, halt back bunkers, stop refueling the US. Like, oh, okay. You know they're defending you, jackasses. That's why they're there, defending you, idiots. Navy ship has urged other European countries to follow suit. Senator Mike Lee calls the United States to exit NATO. God bless Mike Lee. 100%. Get the hell out of NATO. Get the hell out of NATO. Here's what Zelensky's been saying in the wake of the meeting. Stupid punk. This whole thing was a setup. He's trying to rally the EU together. Wow. I'm going to show you something that's going to get you angry. You're going to be screaming for us to get out of NATO in a minute. You'll be screaming for it. I'm telling you now, you're about to be screaming for it. We're going to go country by country. First and foremost, there's this. An important visit to the United States and Washington. I met with a bipartisan delegation from the U.S. Senate. Our discussion focused on the continued military assistance for Ukraine. Why is he meeting with them before he meets with the president? Why is that happening?
Thank you very much.
All Democrat senators he's meeting with.
Happy to see you. We know each other. It's not.
Richard Blumenthal, Amy Klobuchar, all the stupid Democrats. Kissing his ass. I forget this clown's name.
Thank you so much. Happy to see you. We know each other. It's not the first meeting, and I'm very proud that Ukraine has such big strategic even not partner, not only partner.
This was
friends,
clearly before he
like
met
the
Trump.
United States, so we are very thankful for this.
We're here today as a show of support. We have committee chairs. We have
I can't listen to these idiots. So that's that. Okay, fine. So after the meeting, he put this out. Thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit. Does he say thank you to Trump? No. There you go. Thank you, the POTUS, Congress, and American people. Ukraine needs just and lasting peace, and we work exactly for that. No, you're not. No, you're freaking not at all. At least he managed to remember Trump in there. Okay. Then, I don't know who. So he gets support from the leader of Poland. Dear Zelensky, Ukrainian friends, you're not alone. This is at 1:46 p.m. This is after the meeting. Because what time was this? 2:22. So this was he sent right after the meeting. So maybe 1:46. Maybe that's, I don't know what time that meeting was with Trump. It might have been later in the day. Pedro Sanchez, president of Spain. What time did you send this? 2:11 p.m. This is Spain agreeing with him. President Moldova agreeing with him. Truth is simple. Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia's aggressor. Ukraine defends freedom and ours. We stand with Ukraine. President of Lithuania standing with Ukraine. Ukraine will never walk alone. Well, he damn well should. Latvia stands with Ukraine. There you go. Prime Minister of Latvia. President of the Czech Republic. We stand with Ukraine. Peter Pavel, we stand with Ukraine more than ever. President of the Czech Republic. We stand with Ukraine. Prime Minister of the Norwegian Labour Party. Every one of them. We should walk out today. Germany. Stand with Ukraine. I don't even know what the hell this is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Swedish Prime Minister. Sweden. Portugal. Ukraine can always count on Portugal. They're sending this after the blow up. F all of them. We should be so out of NATO. I don't know what Europol. What is that? Is that? I think that's Australia, right? President EU Commission standing with Ukraine. This is an FU to Trump. This is a massive. This is all these stupid world leaders giving an FU to Trump. That's what this is. Luxembourg. It's an FU to Trump. Why are you sending this out yesterday after the meeting? Why? Netherlands. They should say, you know what? You guys figure it out. I'm telling you right now, Trump should be demanding $7 trillion right now. Done with you. Or we're out of NATO. Latvia. Every one of these people. Ireland. Which EU country doesn't suck? Finland? No. Croatia? I don't know. Prime Minister's Office, DK. I'm not sure what that is. Romania. All of them can. Austria. This cock. Why? Why are we there? Why are we there? Tell me why. Why are we there? They all joined in with this stupid punk. Prime Minister of Australia. EU. Yeah. Unbelievable. We in Finland understand what Ukraine is going through. Shut up. You all can pay for it. Not with American tax dollars. Switzerland. Seriously, every one of them suck. Every one of them. I'm done with them. I'm done with them. Vance says Z if he said thank you and called Z Vance a psycho. C-SPAN had that out too. Looks like he's coordinating with Caitlin Collins. Maybe. Thank you, DMB. Appreciate that. Let's go. Also, that story told earlier that was bookend with Lady Lawgic involved you driving around shopping. Things that never happened for $500. Well, sadly, it did. I was shopping. I shop every Friday. OMG, or you're using Windows? Okay, unsubscribe. The EU, I don't know what you want me to use besides Windows. I have no idea. The EU attacking us over that man's behavior pisses me off. F them. If they want to disrespect us like that and think it's okay, then pull out NATO now. If that's how you all feel, be our guest. I'm with you 100%. Zelensky is corrupt and the U.S. shouldn't be dealing with him. Nope. I agree with you. POG, military slang, meaning personnel other than grunt. Ah. Hey, Seth Moulton, polling already came out. 62% of the American people said Zelensky was rude, and over 50% agree with Trump. Normally not used in a nice way. I'm not sure what that was referring to. Note, 03:45 a.m. NASA had its historic first return to lunar surface since Apollo 17 in 1972. Touchdown stream live now live on NASA channel Firefly Blue Ghosts. Oh, cool. Appreciate you sending everyone over there. Thank you. Remember, JD went to Germany, lectured the EU leaders about censorship, and at the end of one of them started crying, got poor baby mommy hug. I don't remember that. Yeah, just does mean retribution. I know what Deutschland is. Leave NATO. You want to stand with Zelensky when he was an ass the USA? Fine, stand with them without NATO. Yeah, I agree. I'm done with NATO. It's almost like they're part of the same globalist uniparty. They're all getting a taste of our tax dollars through the grift. Almost, yeah. Thanks for great coverage tonight. Great chat members too. Peace. God bless you. 14 months. I do have great chat members. I got a bunch of rants also that I need to get through here. Bunch of rants, and then I have a lot more I want to share with you. Like a lot more. Zelensky was just trying to renegotiate the deal in front of the press. This is Johnny Reb saying, because Biden caved in the press every time. Trump does not. He's an idiot. Don't forget the diggers. I haven't forgotten the diggers. This is what he wants me to share with y'all. It's pretty funny. It's pretty good job, Johnny. I'm not gonna kid you. This is a pretty good one. Storage is empty. We can defend our land today. You know, his hair on fire. That's pretty funny. That's the party saying sticking up out of Minnesota. I was talking about Michigan. Don't tell me you don't know what that is. I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter any further. You have no power here. Good job. Hey, Zelensky, this isn't the corrupt Biden administration where you can beg for billions in exchange for kickbacks. Yeah. I think that Trump handled himself magnificently. He really did. Yep. Let's call Zelensky's bluff, whether we're gonna end up sending our troops there or not. Let's call his bluff. Let's call his bluff. Feeling that we're not gonna end up, that Putin's not gonna end up invading us. Yeah, seriously, if we get out of NATO, we'll avoid World War III. Because the EU wants to drag us there. And they certainly don't give the slightest damn about Trump. I can't believe the audacity of all those European leaders lining up like cucks behind this punk. Audacity. Molly reported she's in case you're not familiar with who Molly is, Molly Hemingway, editor-in-chief of the Federalist, senior journalism fellow at Hillsdale, Fox News contributor. She's got obviously a very large following, 1.4 million followers. Yesterday, Susan Rice said at the Trump-Zelensky meeting, there's no question this was a setup. She revealed full knowledge of the mineral agreement and complained that it didn't include concrete security agreements, meaning apparently commitment of U.S. troops on the ground if conditions merit, and then mischaracterized Trump's behavior, counting on most Americans to not watch what transpired over the entire hour in the Oval Office. You can look at this and dismiss it as typical Democrat talking points, but you can also view it as almost a confession, one that includes details about the current Get Trump effort. Yes, Trump won the popular vote against unbelievable odds. They're beating Team Obama because she was one of the key inner circle people for Obama and Biden. Is being any less involved in quiet insurrections than they were during the first administration. You're clueless. I'll remind you that Susan Rice was the small January 5th, 2017 meeting in the White House with other key Russia collusion hoax perpetrators. Zelensky repeatedly declined opportunities to sign the deal in Kiev and Munich and requested the meeting at the White House. It later came out that Rice and Tony Blinken, Victoria Nuland, and Alexander Vindman, they've been personally advising Zelensky to do this meeting in the way he did, that they recommend him to be hostile and try to goad Trump into blowing up, even though he didn't. And even though Zelensky's action horrified many normal Americans, the Obama team went on airways to falsely characterize what happened. I think their goal was to have a wonderful performance by Zelensky, an angry Trump appearing to scuttle the deal, and supported the neocon portion of the GOP to start applying pressure on Trump to have U.S. troop commitments as part of the security guarantee. It was a setup in Susan Rice's interesting choice of words. Instead, Zelensky had one of the worst stage performances of his acting career, and Trump was statesmanlike against all odds throughout. Zelensky followed Team Obama's advice to be hostile to a T, but it didn't land how they thought it would. Surprisingly, one of the most important aspects of it not working out might have been Lindsey Graham's reaction. It's true. Lindsey Graham, had he and other neocons thought Zelensky was being reasonable, Trump would have had a fight, even more so, the neocon portion of the GOP, in addition to Obama's dirty tricks. Even the conservative neocon pundits on TV last night were admitting Zelensky had royally messed up. As you can see from the hostility of the bureaucracy to any Republican oversight, no matter how reasonable a minor might be, the entrenched bureaucracy and permanent DC apparatus is quite active. This is a very, very good insight by Molly. This is why she has a lot of followers. This is really good insight. This was set up by the DNC. That's why all those Democratic leaders, senators, are sitting there kissing his ass before the meeting. That goes quadruple for the deep state and intelligence community. I expect more and more shenanigans to be prepared so you don't fall for the next information operation. This is a great point. The post-World War II architecture in Europe and the U.S. needs this war to continue or be settled on U.S. troops on the ground type guarantees, even though that's not what Americans want. Things will heat up here, and it's a very dangerous time. It's a very insightful point by her, to which Susan Rice responded. This bitch. You clowns are up to the same old tired crap. When you guys screws up and royally embarrass stuff in the U.S., you try to change the subject and lie about favorite target to distract and deflect. For the record, I've never met Zelensky, never spoken to him. Ever. Or advised him or anyone around him. It's a shame that you contend that it is the U.S. national interest to sell out Ukraine and suck up to Putin. Oh, thank you for your response. Where will we place this denial compared to your oft-repeated lie that the Benghazi debacle was due to a YouTube video, and your lie that you knew nothing about unmasking of Trump officials being forced to admit that you did it widely? Actually, since we're chatting here, how are you feeling about the Logan Act scheme you all memorialized in that January 5th, 2017 meeting to criminalize foreign policy differences with POTUS? How are you feeling about that now that the shoe is on the other foot? Because this, theoretically, by the DNC, could be a Logan Act violation. You're not allowed to start sitting here negotiating with foreign world dignitaries. Trump could go after them if, in fact, they met with Zelensky. Let's go, Brandon. Gifton. 5. Good Lawgic memberships. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the support. Bringing people into the following as they become more informed individuals and help their own personal growth. God bless you, brother. Thank you. Sent a wild AI video of the Trump Z meeting. All right, now we got to check that out. Let's see what you sent. Let's see what you sent me here. Let's. Oh my God, that's great. I hope the music doesn't get me flagged. I'm gonna cut the music so. Are we gonna have more than that one? I think it's the same one over and over again. It is the same one over and over again. That's great. Thank you. Did you hear about Teslas being spray painted with the Nazi symbols or lit on fire? Basically, leftist Democrat terrorism could drive Tesla stock down or make use Teslas cheaper. I don't know. I haven't heard about that. I'm not surprised. Not surprised. Johnny Reb says, oh, hold on a second. What else we got here? Joe, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is jutting off of Wisconsin's nose, not Canada's. Minnesota, you have to cross Canada to get into by land. Okay. But the only warships that port in Norway are nuclear subs. They're so stupid. They're so stupid. He also says, Europe, you want to support Ukraine? Go ahead. Try to take Russia without the USA. Yeah, I'm doing it. You can take him. I'm sure you guys got it. You got this, guys. You got this. You don't need us. Why would you need America? You don't need America. You guys are good. You're good without us. To hell with all of them. To hell with all of them. Tucker Carlson saying, one of the most striking things about yesterday's Zelensky press conference was Lindsey Graham's reaction to it. The two are old friends, but Graham disavowed him within the hour. This is more than just transactional disloyalty. It was scapegoating. Lindsey Graham knows what's coming. Over the past 3 years, with the tacit support of its Western patrons, the Ukrainian government has committed a remarkable number of serious crimes. Ukrainians sold huge quantities of American weapons on the international black market at 20 cents on the dollar. These weapons are now in the hands of armed groups around the world, including Hamas, the Mexican drug cartels, and the forces now controlling Syria. God knows what the Ukrainians have done with the pathogens in American biolabs in the country. Even the U.S. intel agencies are unsure. The Ukrainians have also murdered a number of people in various countries in political assassinations and tried to murder others, including American journalists and a European head of state. This is all true, and it's all going to come out at some point. Better start blaming it on Zelensky now. Lindsey Graham did come out in support of Trump. which surprised a lot of people. I don't think I have it yet. Where is it? He's Putin. Stop it. All right. All right.
He just gave an interview to Fox, and President Zelensky was asked if he owes President Trump an apology. Listen to this.
So I'm not hearing from you, Mr. President, a thought that you owe the president an apology.
No, I respect President and I respect American people. And if, I don't know, if I think that we have to be very open and very honest. And I'm not sure that we did something bad. I think maybe sometimes.
What an utter jackass.
Some things we have to discuss out of media, with all respect to democracy and to a free media.
Shouldn't this dynamic, if you're going to be like this, be behind closed doors? Not.
Of course. And
so do you regret that? Are you regretting that that happened today?
Regretting? Yes, I think it was not good. I think it was not good.
I will tell you, by the way, that I do think there was a miscommunication on that. There's one point where he said, "You're not holding the cards," and he said something like, "We're not playing games here." And I think when Trump was talking about, "You think you're holding the cards, you're not holding the cards," I don't think that Zelensky necessarily understood the euphemism of holding cards. He's like, "You think you're holding the cards, you can handle this, you're not holding the cards." And he seemed to think that Trump thought he was playing games. And that's not what Trump was saying. That I do think is possible came about because of miscommunication.
Because we had a lot of different dialogues. I'm always open to media, but there are very sensitive things. I just want to be honest, and I just want our partners to understand the situation correctly. And I want to understand everything correctly. That's about us. Not to lose our friendship.
That was not a yes.
Yeah, he's not apologizing. He's a punk. He's a punk.
Certainly did not say that he was going to apologize.
Yeah.
And, you know, the point that he was just making about it being open to the press, you know, I don't.
And the EU all jumping to get his back means that it's much less likely he's going to apologize. And they want him to keep fighting Putin.
Believe that meetings between two allies generally get that contentious, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. They definitely have discussions and they have serious disagreements, which they try to work out. But, you know, I know you said earlier that it was genuine. I totally agree with you that Donald Trump's and J.D. Vance's, well, Donald Trump in particular, his reaction was genuine, that he was genuinely angry. But the fact that the cameras were allowed to stay for as long as they were, the Trump administration, the president himself, clearly, in fact, he sort of suggested he wanted the American people to see this moment. He had been against a lot of the support for Ukraine for a long time. Certainly, J.D. Vance had been against the U.S. staying involved in Ukraine. And so we can never forget that even though he is the president of the United States of America, he is very much focused on the people who brought him to the dance.
What the hell is that? You're an idiot. You're so stupid, Dana Bash. My God, what an idiot. What a doofus.
People, a lot of the voters who supported him, even more than that, the majority of the American people, they're done with supporting Ukraine.
Now. It's like they never just like listen to like what he says. They're so stupid. God. Incompetence. Utter incompetence. All right. So I want to also share with you this post from Clandestine. I don't know who this War Clandestine is. He's a pretty big count, 670,000 followers. Zelensky's debacle is not just the end of Ukraine. This is the beginning of the end of NATO. I hope so. If Trump cuts off all funding to Ukraine, the world is about to quickly realize that NATO is nothing without the U.S. Without the threat of the U.S. military and access to U.S. taxpayer money, NATO becomes substantially less powerful and arguably irrelevant when compared to nuclear superpowers like Russia and China. Without the threat of the U.S. military and our nuclear capabilities, NATO loses all value. The security guarantees will become next to useless. If the U.S. under new management from Trump were to abandon NATO, the globalist war machine would lose their ability to operate and eventually cease to exist. All those socialism countries would start dying. Picture below are the current stats in NATO spending. Without the U.S., NATO is nothing. We don't need them. They need us. 70.5% of the spending. 70.5%. Like I said, you should start saying, give us our money back. Give us our money back if you want us to be here. Give it back. Give it back. That's what you should say. Give us back our money. Now, I'm curious whether you want us out of Ukraine also. Excuse me, not out of Ukraine, out of NATO. Do you think we should be pulling out of NATO? When you see what that jackass is showing one world leader after another, all of them supporting his stupidity. You got this clown over here, John Bolton. One last clown I'll give you here.
This is the point when somebody does 180 degrees from understanding American allies to backing America's adversaries that you resign.
What an idiot.
Mark, are you saying Marco Rubio should resign?
And Mike Waltz, this is really the time to do it. If they don't get out now, I think their reputations will suffer for a long, long time. And that,
what a doofus. He's so stupid.
That would be sad because their record in believing in a strong American national security policy has been very good up until now. This is
if Bolton is saying that you've been very good, you need to reassess everything you've been doing in your career because that guy's a lunatic. Wants to go to war with everyone. Saying Marco Rubio should resign to preserve his reputation. Oh my God. Johnny Reb saying, Europe, you want to support Ukraine? Go ahead. Try to take on Russia without the USA. They should. They should. Yeah. World War I, World War II, we bailed Europe out. No more. No more. Wipe our hands. Should wipe our hands. Say, we're done. We are done. But I'm curious if you want us out of NATO. I'd like to hear your take. So if you're watching after the show, drop a link, drop a comment, a like, share, subscribe. How many likes do we have here? Because my likes I noticed on Rumble were just dismal. 74 likes, 75 likes. 75 likes. What about over here? What about over here? Are you guys hitting the like and subscribe buttons? Are we doing that? Is that still a thing that we do? Is that something we still do? That we hit the like and subscribe? Let me refresh this. 730 likes on YouTube. Pathetic. Pathetic. You want a poll? All right, we'll do a poll. 86% of you think that Zelensky should have worn a suit. The whole thing goes different if he's wearing a suit. We'll do a quick poll here. Start a poll. Should we get out of NATO? Yes, no, or yes, unless they pay us back $5 trillion that we paid. There's your poll. Bunch of freeloaders. NATO should not exist. It's really the bottom line. They shouldn't exist. Take that bag. Now, what's the carry-on weight limit? I think I'm going to just write stuff off. Someone sent Joe the risque meme. Which meme? Which risque meme? Upper Peninsula is connected to Wisconsin, only separated by a river. Yet Peninsula is magnificent. Helps me believe in God. 200 plus waterfalls. Wow. Really? All right. I'm going to be wrapping up here very, very soon. The only thing I have left here that I wanted to share with you all, a little bit off topic, but I think it's important to know. There's one more story that I didn't reference at all. You'll remember how Pam Bondi and we had the whole scandal last week with the documents that we were supposed to be getting and we never got for Epstein. Well, we have a development which just came like an hour before showtime. An hour before showtime, this came out.
Welcome back, America. We're here with, and I'm very excited about this, Attorney General Pam Bondi, a good friend, especially a good friend of my wife, but a wonderful lady, a great lawyer. Welcome to the program, Madam Attorney General. I want to get into this Epstein thing a little bit. I think the American people are very curious about who's on this list or these lists. You have been doggedly trying to get all the information. And now we learn, thanks to you, that you've been stonewalled by people in New York. Do you want to explain that?
Yes, Mark. So as you know, we released about 120 pages of documents, and I started asking for these documents right when I came into office and before Kash Patel was in there. So I ended up getting about 120 pages. We carefully redacted them, of course, to be sure the 254 young girls, women who are victims of sex crimes and sex trafficking, their personal information was redacted and out of there to protect them. So I'm going through it and I kept saying, there has to be more, there has to be more. I'm assured that's it. Kash asked the same questions. Assured there's no more. I found out, this week that a source told me New York, SDNY, they're sitting on thousands of pages of documents regarding Epstein. Thousands. And of course, you've seen the very strong letter. We will get everything. We will have it in our possession. We will redact it, of course, to protect grand jury information and confidential witnesses. But the American people have a right to know. And Donald Trump is the most transparent president in our nation's history. So not only will America get the full Epstein files, they will get JFK, they will get Martin Luther King.
Well, that's fantastic. But I assume the Southern District of New York is or has been holding on to this information for a reason. That is, they don't like the names on the list. And of course, we know New York is a hotbed of the Democrat Party, and that includes in legal circles. Do you think that's part of the issue here, that they're trying to protect a lot of names and individuals?
Mark, I have not reviewed the information yet. And as a lawyer, as a prosecutor, I want to review everything before I make a firm conclusion. But I think it's very interesting that they withheld that from us. And I will find out who withheld it, and they will not be working for us anymore.
So once all that's gathered, you're just going to put it out in the public with the obvious necessary redactions, including the people who were the victims and the phone numbers and so forth. But for the perpetrators, I assume that we'll see those names, yes?
Well, certainly. There's nothing can be withheld on that. Of course, as you know, grand jury information, anything confidential will be withheld under the law. And we're going to do everything in our power to protect
not
the
asking about grand
victims so
jury
they're not
information.
further victimized also.
Let me ask you a question, kind of in this vein, and it may be too early to know because you just got to the Department of Justice. This guy, Jack Smith, his team of lawyers and so forth and so on, do we know yet, and I happen to know that is a big damn department with a lot of people, and so it just takes time to figure things out, but do we happen to know yet whether they complied with all the requirements of the Presidential Records Act and the Espionage Act? That is, did they store all their materials for you folks to look at when you choose to look at it? Do we know that? Or did they remove or destroy any of it?
Mark, that's what we're looking at now. We're going through all of that. And now that I just got Kash Patel in as FBI director, he's, of course, a tremendous help. I've been in office, barely 2 weeks, and it feels like 2 years. We are going nonstop. We will get to the bottom of that. And as you know, the first thing I did was fire the Jack Smith team. That was the ultimate weaponization of our country and our government.
Don't you get a little frustrated, or worse, I would, reading these stories about how...
All right. Well, there you go. So folks getting fired for holding on to the Epstein files. That's good. That's good. Most annoying thing was Canada virtue signaling Pierre to Pallier too. They don't respect us, so why should we give them our nuclear umbrella and money? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's like they want us to be isolationist. It's like they want that. Exit NATO, stop shipping money internationally, start indictments, release Epstein docs, shut down the IRS, charge all interference. There you go. There you go. There you go. 70% of you want out of NATO. 5% say no. 25% say unless they pay us back our $5 trillion, and 70% say yes, just out. Get us the hell out. There you go. That's 95% of you saying out or get us our money back. All right, I'm going to land my plane here. This was a 3-hour show. I think we learned a lot here. God willing, I plan on being back tomorrow evening. Until then, I'm going to remind each and every one of you that those European leaders, they eat lab meat. They want you to eat the bugs. These are 2 no-nos for any good red-blooded American. So that's for they, them, not for you. They, them being those cuck EU Zelensky suckers. That's who it's for. It's not for you. It's not for you. That's my show. I'm sticking to it. Lauren, her story smells. Yeah, she's not inspiring confidence. She's not inspiring confidence. Don't get me wrong. That's the first time I watched the clip. I saw the headline on it, but I didn't actually watch the clip. She's not inspiring confidence. I'm just gonna say that. She's not. I'm gonna give her more time. I'm not passing judgment yet, but I don't know. We'll see. All right. That's my show. Have a good night. And Godspeed.